Making a masterwork sword is, it's a really violent
Oh,
process.
absolutely.
You don't just like polish up some raw iron, right? You have to plunge it into this blinding heat, completely melt it down, and just beat it relentlessly with a hammer.
Right, until it becomes something unbreakable.
Exactly. And welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are stepping right into the really intense fictional universe of author Rena Lynn
It
today.
is a heavy one, yeah.
It is. Our mission today is exploring the character Maggie, specifically her wounded warrior recovery arc. We're looking at how extreme suffering acts as this divine forging process to create an unbreakable warrior chick.
Yeah, and that forging metaphor fits so perfectly here.
Yeah.
Because Maggie, she really undergoes a total system failure in these sources.
She hits rock bottom.
The absolute lowest conceivable point, yeah. She survives a horrific physical assault that leaves her with severe PTSD and amnesia.
Right. And to cope with that, plus the devastating past loss of her children, she basically just pulls the circuit breaker on her own emotions.
Yeah, she locks her soul deep inside this mental box.
It's just a pure survival mechanism,
Yeah.
to stop herself from completely shutting down. So if Maggie is that raw iron we talked about earlier, she is currently in the absolute hottest part of the furnace.
Exactly. But the source material is careful to frame this suffering not as, just random chaos. It's a deliberate, divine forging process.
Right, like it has a purpose.
Right. The text explains that God allows Maggie to walk through this fiery furnace so the dross, the impurities,
Yeah.
so the dross can be boiled to the top and just scooped off. The pain isn't the point. The purification is.
Because it's an excruciating process, but it's meant to hone her for a massive spiritual kingdom war against demonic entities.
Exactly.
So, okay, if she's being prepared for this intense spiritual war, how does that actually manifest? Because she doesn't find her strength in, a quiet therapist's office.
No, not at all. She finds it in the most volatile environment possible, which is the ocean.
Yeah, she just wades right into the crashing waves.
Right, and it's not just dramatic flair. The physical impact of the water forces her back into her own body. It acts as this intense grounding technique.
To disrupt the dissociation.
Exactly, the trauma-induced dissociation. She physically feels that raw force and power, but it isn't tied to abuse this time.
And that triggers the memory of her poem, Force of Nature, which
Yeah.
acts almost like a blueprint for her new mindset.
Yeah, she remembers discovering the warrior chick that had been, quote, suppressed beneath his gruff.
She decides to stop being a doormat. She finds this wild excitement where she just doesn't give a damn who likes it. But let me push back on this for a second.
Sure, go ahead.
Does reciting a poem and standing in the ocean really heal deep trauma? Or is she just, adopting a really tough exterior as a defense mechanism?
I mean, if it were just a poem, you'd be right. It would just be a Band-Aid.
Mm.
But it's an aggressive reclamation of her agency. She isn't masking her vulnerability. She's actually weaponizing it.
Whoa.
By withstanding those waves, she unlocks what the text calls her spiritual muscle memory. She isn't hiding. She's accepting her divine calling as a paladin.
A holy warrior.
Right, who fiercely protects the vulnerable precisely because she shares those deep wounds.
Because her unhealed scars kind of act as a radar for the suffering of others.
Exactly. She intimately knows what it's like to be defenseless,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the real core takeaway here. Maggie's journey shows that deep scars don't ruin the warrior.
They're the proof of the forging process.
Yes. Her trauma doesn't disqualify her from the battlefield. It's the exact qualification needed for the job.
That is so powerful. It makes you look at your own life, and wonder how your own past traumas might be the exact elements that forged your greatest current strength.
The dross burns away and the steel remains.
I love that. So we want to leave you all with a provocative thought to mull over. If our hardest, most painful trials are actually training exercises for a larger, unseen spiritual battle.
Which is a heavy thought for sure.
It is. What exact conflict is the universe preparing you to fight right now? Keep your eyes on the hammer and the flame.